Welcome to episode number 2 of Michael on the Mic. Today we have a lot to cover. We have some exciting stories on the largest electric bus deal ever being signed in the U.S. by a municipal government, signed just the other day. It's going to cause a couple of stocks to do extremely well. It's a stock that Chamath Palihapitiya is very bullish on. He has invested heavily in it. After that, we're going to talk about some stories on another energy company that is extremely undervalued, according to Jim Cramer, a lot of top analysts, and even Cathie Wood. And we're going to talk about some other stories about the Clubhouse app being soon available on Android. They're currently working on it. Bill Gates' thoughts on Bitcoin and Square purchasing Bitcoin as well. So we got a lot to cover, but let's just get right into it. So the biggest electric bus deal in the U.S. was approved the other day in Maryland. And what happened is the Board of Education in Maryland's Montgomery County voted unanimously on Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021, to approve a 16-year, $169 million contract to lease 326 buses, and it's part of the plan to that would eventually result in the county replacing its entire 1,422 bus fleet, converting those over to electric vehicles over the next 2 decades. So it's a long-term plan, but this deal is really important because it's the largest municipal government order of any kind of buses, and this is going to help promote clean energy, and it's a transition we're going to start to see in a lot of other counties all across the U.S. We're seeing Joe Biden and a lot of the deals he is already signing and signing into office. A lot of these deals are pushing for the same exact thing. The U.S. Postal Service announced earlier on Tuesday as well, February 23rd, that a 10-year contract to replace as many as 165,000 vehicles with ones that they have right now is in place. They picked a company that would be manufacturing these buses, these vans. So they're also transitioning over to electric as well. And we're just going to continue to see buses for school systems, delivery vans, whether that's for the UPS, whether that's for the Postal Service, whatever it's for, we're going to continue to see all of these vehicles transition over to electric. And this is really going to help out one stock in particular that I've mentioned on my main channel, and that stock is Proterra. It's currently a SPAC, and the stock ticker symbol is ACTC, I believe. We'll double check that. But right now, this company, Proterra, is the largest electric bus maker in the U.S. They have a lot of different portions of their business. They make batteries, charging stations, and also they make the actual buses. So they are a fully vertically integrated company for the bus, electric bus space. And the stock ticker symbol right now, like we said, is ACTC. And the vehicles for this deal with Maryland will be built by Thomas Built Buses, Inc., a division of Daimler AG, with electric battery technology provided by Proterra. So Proterra isn't actually making the buses, but they are providing the battery technology for this deal. So either way, it's a big deal for Proterra, gets them more exposure, gets them integrated more into these large deals that we're going to continue to see. And right now, the stock price has been down a lot recently. I think it's a great time to buy in. I do own this stock. I've spoken about it a lot on my channel. Chamath Palihapitiya has said this is his largest ever green energy climate change investment in the U.S. He said it's a U.S.-based company, Proterra. He says with the Joe Biden administration looking for U.S.-based companies to help transition from gasoline to electric-powered buses and trucks, Proterra is the ideal play and the ideal target for a lot of these orders that we're going to start to see coming in. And according to the district in Maryland, they said it costs no more what districts are spending currently on diesel, and they said that they think there's going to be savings initially on fuel and maintenance, and the price of electric buses will fall, and the price of diesel is going to rise to the point that they meet. So he said eventually you won't be able to get a diesel bus. They're making this transition now. It's going to be better for the environment, and I think you definitely want to look at this stock if you don't already have it on your watch list. Proterra, stock ticker symbol ACTC. I believe it's that. It's currently a SPAC, so let me know your thoughts on that. But this is a really big deal, seeing that the biggest electric bus deal in the U.S. was approved over $100 million in Maryland. But speaking of big deals, is Square. They just bought $170 million worth of Bitcoin. The company said it purchased about 3,300 Bitcoin, and this is expanding upon their initial purchase of about 4,700. So now they have well over 8,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and Square says it represents about 5% of the company's total assets as of the end of 2020. So right now, this is important because Cathie Wood has come out and said that as we start to see large institutions put like single digits of their balance sheet, so let's say, they put 1% or 2% or 5% of their total cash into Bitcoin, well, we're going to see Bitcoin eventually, she said, reach $500,000 a share. That's because Bitcoin has a limited quantity. There's 21 million Bitcoin. There's never going to be any more. And as all these large institutions, we saw Tesla buy 1.5 billion. Now we see Square buy another 170 million. As we see these companies continue to pour billions of dollars into Bitcoin, there's only a limited quantity. So it's going to cause the stock price, not the stock price, but it's going to cause the price of Bitcoin to go up. It's just simple supply and demand. There's a very limited supply of Bitcoin. More money goes in, just means there's a high demand and a low supply. So essentially that is going to keep driving the price of Bitcoin up as we continue to see more companies like Square buying more and more Bitcoin. According to CEO Jack Dorsey, he said that the investment is part of Square's ongoing commitment to Bitcoin and the company's plan to assess its aggregate investment in Bitcoin relative to its other investments on an ongoing basis. He says that they want to make sure that they're invested in the next generation of currencies, and they want to have more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on their cash. So we'll continue to see, I think, more companies buy it, going to cause Bitcoin to continue to skyrocket. And according to Cathie Wood, if we see all the Fortune 500 companies allocate single digits of their balance sheet to Bitcoin, well, then we'll see Bitcoin reach $500,000. It may be 10 years from now, maybe 5 years from now. It's just going to depend on how long it takes for all of these companies to really transition and make the change over to actually allocating that much of their money into Bitcoin. But it's a pretty interesting story, and I think it's going to be something you need to keep an eye out for moving in the next couple of weeks, even seeing what companies do with Bitcoin. Next up, though, I read a story the other day, and that is with Archer Aviation. And Archer Aviation is urban air mobility company. Essentially, they'll think of them like the Uber or Lyft, but for the air. And I've talked about them a couple times on our other channel. This company it's currently a SPAC. It's going to be going public with stock ticker symbol ACIC, Atlas Crest Investment Corp. And right now, what they're doing, like I said, they're like the Uber Lyft for the air. Some things to keep an eye out for with this company is that Cathie Wood just bought hundreds of thousands of shares of this stock. So whenever she does that, that usually causes a stock price to rise significantly. A lot of people follow and mimic what Cathie Wood does, but that's not why you should buy this stock. It's a bonus, but that's not why. So recently they announced their commitment to launching its urban air mobility network in Los Angeles by 2024. And what I like about this company in particular is that they signed a massive $1 billion deal, so a purchase order from United Airlines. And this purchase order is for $1 billion of aircrafts from Archer. And now we know that they're going to be launching their network in Los Angeles. So Archer, they have a partnership with the city of Los Angeles to work and address a lot of these mobility challenges in Southern California. And this is important because it's the first of its kind initiative in the entire U.S. to make Los Angeles really the clear leader on urban air mobility. And the program that they just came up with has a number of strategies to help integrate urban air mobility into existing transportation networks. and land use policy. So essentially what this company sees is in the future, instead of taking an Uber or a Lyft everywhere, let's say you're going to the airport, you could take one of their electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. So essentially it's, think of it like just an Uber or Lyft for the sky. It's sort of like a helicopter, but not exactly. Anyways, their vehicles have a total range of about, they say that they're expected to travel distances of up to 60 miles at 150 miles an hour. And that's going to continue to get better and better over time. But the important thing is that they just announced this deal with the city of Los Angeles to get it rolled out by 2024, which is very exciting. Another thing that we're seeing in states across the U.S. is with legalizing sports betting. We saw Michigan recently announce and recently pass a bill to legalize sports betting. We're seeing a lot of states across the U.S. do this. And now Texas proposed a bill to legalize sports wagering. And this is absolutely huge for companies like DraftKings. I've spoken about DraftKings for months on the main channel. I invest in it. I've spoken about how as more and more states legalize sports betting, it's going to continue to help DraftKings. And this is a really important deal because Texas is one of the largest states in the U.S. And now, having proposed a constitutional amendment to authorize legislators to legalize sports betting is going to generate not only billions of dollars in revenue for Texas, but it's a massive potential for DraftKings as well. So right now, what I really like about DraftKings is they have major partnerships with the NFL, exclusive fantasy deals in the U.S. and also in Canada. Canada recently announced that they were looking to pass legislation for sports betting as well. DraftKings already has, they're already in that market for fantasy sports. In addition to that, we're seeing more and more states in the U.S. So as we continue to see states legalize sports betting all across the U.S., in my opinion, I think we're going to see DraftKings skyrocket in value. I think we're going to see about 80% of the states in the U.S. legalize sports betting. It generates them more revenue, and we're seeing a push across all states for this to happen. So this is just another big step in the right direction. It's going to help out DraftKings tremendously, and I think as we see more and more states, it's going to continue to benefit DraftKings stock price. I don't know if you guys saw, but we're going to get off a little bit of stocks for a while. But Clubhouse app, they hired an Android software developer, and that's a really good sign because it's signaling that they're going to start working on the Android app. Currently, Clubhouse has more than 10 million weekly active users, and the app is really big. It's getting really big because people like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, a lot of big names have been going on the apps, speaking and chatting in rooms where most people probably wouldn't be able to interact or hear from them. But now with Clubhouse app, they're able to. Clubhouse has had a lot of attention in China as well. Chinese consumers love the app, but the app was, banned from the App Store in China. So good news, though, is that it looks like they are developing Clubhouse for Android, and that signals that the app is really starting to get more and more popular, that they need to do this. They started off just using an Apple, building their app on Apple and iOS, and also it's an invite-only platform. So eventually I think we're going to see it be that anyone can access the platform, that it's going to be on Android and Apple, and we'll see what happens with it in China. But this is just a big step in the right direction. Let me know if you guys use Clubhouse. I've never personally been on the app yet. I've read a lot about it, but I've never been on it. But do you guys use Clubhouse app? I know of a lot of people that do, go on it every once in a while when there's an interesting person, an interesting chat room. But let me know what you guys think of Clubhouse and your thoughts on that. This isn't a story that I typically talk about on the podcast, but it's really important, and that is with Tiger Woods. So the other day I was reading, and I just saw on the news that Tiger Woods got in a very bad accident in California. He just finished up playing golf. I watch golf a lot, and he just finished playing rounds at a golf tournament on the Sunday before this happened. This happened on a couple days after. But so Tiger Woods was in a really bad accident. They had to use the jaws of life to get him out. And it was in a single car accident. The car flipped over, and it was on the side of a hill, flipped over. They had to use the jaws of life to get him out. Good news is that they said he is recovering from the accident. They said that things are looking better. He came out of surgery, and that they inserted, they said, where is it? A rod had been inserted into his right tibia, and screws and pins were used to stabilize bones in his ankle and foot. They said that undergone a lot of surgical procedures on his lower right leg and ankle. And this is really unfortunate. Tiger Woods has had a lot of back injuries throughout his career. Fortunately, he is okay, but unfortunately, this probably could be the end to his golf career. I wouldn't count him out, because every time there's been something that happened to him with his back injuries, with drama that's happened, he always comes back. He always plays, and he's always won a tournament after he's come back. But this time, it could be different. He's had so many back surgeries that have really hurt his golf game as it is, and he's been struggling with that throughout all of 2020, all of 2021, and now to add on major leg injuries that could probably take a year or 2 years to really recover from. He's already in his mid-40s. This could be a career-ending injury, but we'll have to see. I don't think you could count him out, but it's fortunate that he's okay, unfortunate because his golf career could be over. So we had to talk about that, because that is a pretty important thing that happened, and I do like golf. So, but back onto stocks. Star Peak Energy Transition Corp, stock ticker symbols STPK. It's a SPAC that's merging with a company called STEM, and it's a stock that I really like. It's one of our largest positions in our public portfolio on Patreon. If you guys want to join our community on Patreon, we talk about stocks, investments, business, when I buy and sell stocks in real time. Well, make sure to join that group. I linked it down below. But this is one of our biggest investments. And in my opinion, I think it's massively undervalued right now. It's the first pure play smart energy storage company to go public. And green energy is a very hot space right now. Some news that just came out with STPK. A lot of what happened in Texas, they said, was unfortunate. The CEO of STEM came out and said it was very unfortunate, everything that happened with Texas, but a lot of it could have been prevented with STEM's technology. Because what they have is they've built something called the Athena platform, which is a smart solution based on artificial intelligence and machine learning, which can reduce energy costs, carbon emission, and provide greater reliability for the grid. So essentially what it will do eventually, and what it does for tens of thousands of households and businesses already, is it helps transition between using grid energy, so like just the power grid, to using solar energy and battery storage. So it helps transition between when can you use solar versus battery powered versus the grid. And this is really important as more and more houses, more and more businesses will look towards greener energy solutions with let's say solar. And the Athena platform figures out which is the best to use at that specific time. Is it grid, or is it battery storage, or is it using solar? And according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, they just released their energy outlook for 2021, and they're projecting that by 2050, the energy consumption of renewables will more than double, and renewables will account for 42% of all electricity generation in the U.S., and that's the exact industry that STPK and their merger with STEM is in. It's like buying a Tesla. It's like buying Tesla years ago, before electric cars became a whole entire trend and electric vehicles became very popular. So right now, companies like Walmart, Amazon have already pledged to operate on 100% renewable energy and reduce their footprint to net zero carbon emissions. And STEM already has partnerships with Walmart, Amazon, Apple, Duke Energy, Dominion Energy, and a lot of major companies right now. So STEM, they see this market as a 25x growth opportunity. They think that the total addressable market for their industry is $1.2 trillion. They're the clear leader in this space. And after the recent dip the stock has had with the market going down, I think it's a great time to get in. I bought more shares of this recently. I'm going to continue to buy it if it continues to go down, because if you're looking 5 to 10 years from now, this stock is easily a $100 stock. Like, it could be a $100 stock by the end of this year, but conservative is a $100 stock within the next 5 years. So tripling your money in 5 years, people are looking for massive returns. This stock has potential to be a massive home run. The industry is going to grow 25x what it currently is to a $1.2 trillion market. STEM isn't just an idea. They're generating revenue. They have proprietary technology with their Athena platform, and I think this is a stock you definitely want to be looking at. If you've never heard of it, or if you're not already in it, at least put it on your watch list. It is something that I do like as well. A couple other stocks we're going to talk about is with Cathie Wood, Ark Invest. So a lot of people follow and look at what Ark Invest and Cathie Wood are buying on a day-to-day basis. If you go to Ark Invest website, you can see at the end of every trading day what stocks they've added or what stocks they've sold from their portfolio. They have a complete list of all of their ETFs. And Cathie Wood, when the stock market dropped the other day, she bought a lot more Tesla, a lot more of 10x Genomics, a lot more of Twitter, Unity Software, and a number of other companies. So you don't want to just buy stocks because Ark Invest is buying them, but it's important to see what they are buying, because a lot of these stocks are great companies and are innovative companies that next 5 to 10 years are going to be massive players that have potential to be massive players in their respective industries. So let's just go over a couple stocks they bought. Ark Invest, they bought when the market went down. They bought 177,000 shares of Tesla, worth about $123 million. Tesla was at all-time highs of around $900 a share at one point. Now, the other day, it dropped as low as $620 a share, and that's when they scooped up more shares. In addition to Tesla, they also bought more 10x Genomics. It's a genomic stocks that I talked about a month and a half ago on our main channel. They bought about 65,000 shares of that. They bought 911,000 shares of Twitter, 123,000 shares of Spotify. So they bought a lot of health stocks and technology stocks. But the one that I like really in particular out of the main holdings that they got is Spotify. All the companies are great, but Spotify, what I like about them is that they're really pushing heavy into the podcasting space to try to compete with companies like YouTube and just Apple's podcast. And I think Spotify is making major moves in that space already. They already signed exclusive agreements with Joe Rogan, with a number of other top influencers, and I think that's really going to help out Spotify solidify itself in the podcast arena, because they also have video now on their podcast on the platform, so you could even watch podcasts, the video portion of them on Spotify as well. So they're really pushing into that. Spotify is a great company. If you ask anyone, most people listen or use Spotify at least on a daily basis, and definitely a stock that I like. I'm invested in. Ark Invest likes it, and I think with all of the innovation they're doing in their push for podcasting, I think something you want to keep an eye out on at least. But let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think of Spotify? Back onto the Bitcoin news of the day, and that is Bill Gates came out and he actually said that if you have less money than Elon Musk, you probably should be careful with what you're doing and investing with Bitcoin. Bill Gates came out, and on Bloomberg, he said that he isn't worried about Elon Musk's Bitcoin randomly going up or down. He's like, Elon Musk has plenty of money. He has nothing to worry about. But for the regular, investor, regular person, investing in Bitcoin is risky. Anyone knows that, but it could go up 30% a day. It could go down 30% a day. You really never know, and it's happened multiple times. It's going to continue to happen, but long term, what's surprising is Bill Gates is not like so bullish on Bitcoin. He said digital money is a good thing, but he says the difference lies in terms of being regulatory compliant and still giving the convenience and low cost associated with cryptocurrency transactions. So he's not as bullish on Bitcoin as many of the other people in the tech industry. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I think Bitcoin, will it be used for regular purchases? Probably not. It's just because it's too volatile, at least right now. Long term, can it be used as a sort of investment? I definitely think so. I think people are going to be putting money in that to help hedge against different governments and different currencies all across the world. So I think Bitcoin long term is a good investment. It is risky, so I wouldn't put more money than you're comfortable with losing. But I think it is, it does have its upsides to it, even though it is risky. And Bill Gates, isn't the most bullish on it. But speaking of Bitcoin, Elon Musk and Tesla. Elon Musk lost his title as the world's richest person the other day. Now Jeff Bezos is back in that top spot. And that's after Tesla shares have been sliding pretty significantly. They've dropped from about $880, $890 a share down to $600 a share in the matter of a month. Also, Elon Musk has been heavily outspoken about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price has been doing very well, but in the last couple of days, it slid as well. So just because of all that, Elon Musk is now no longer the world's richest person. I'm not worried about him at all. He definitely will reclaim that spot. But a lot of people like to see, is it Elon Musk? Is it Jeff Bezos? But Elon Musk now is the second richest person in the world, just behind Jeff Bezos. But if we see Tesla's stock price go back up, which most likely it will, well then he will reclaim that top spot. And last couple of stories of the day that I wanted to go over is rumors about the iPhone 13. So the iPhone 12 just came out, but we're already hearing about when Apple's next flagship phone will be released, what's going to be with it. And Apple's iPhone 12 has only been on the shelf for a couple of months now, but now the iPhone 13 is getting a lot of attention. They're expecting that there's going to be 3 other variants that are going to join the lineup. They said that's going to be iPhone 13 mini, iPhone 13 Pro, iPhone 13 Max, and the latest rumor is that it's going to have 120 hertz always-on display like the Apple Watch. It's probably going to be coming out when iPhones normally come out, which is around mid-September. Most iPhone releases are in that mid-September range. They have a conference just about every year in September, so we can expect to probably see it around there. Apple likes to hold its events on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, so we don't know the specific date yet, but people are starting to talk about iPhone 13, it being released in September of this year, and that is pretty big. They're going straight from the iPhone 12 to now the iPhone 13. A lot of times they have a model more in between and they wait longer. And last story of the day is scientists. They stumbled upon a meteor smashing into Jupiter. And I just found this really interesting because research using NASA's Juno spacecraft to check out Jupiter's auroras say that they got lucky last spring, caught a bright meteoroid explosion in the process on Jupiter. And these aren't really rare, but they are very short-lived, and it's very unusual to see them. So you have to be really lucky. It has to be pointing at the right place at the right time, and it was just very interesting that happened with Juno. And they explained how the bright flash stood out in the data. It's very different from normal UV emissions from Jupiter's auroras. And I just found this pretty interesting. It was like the right time, the right place, and seeing a meteor smashing into another planet is something that probably never, ever happens. And it was just a pretty interesting story I read. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on it. That's really all I got for you guys today on all the different stocks, tech news, a couple of other pieces of information on Tiger Woods, his condition, and the Clubhouse app as well. So if you made it this far in the video, in the episode, let me know by commenting down below an Apple emoji, just an Apple, because we spoke about the iPhone 13. So just an Apple emoji. Let me know you made it this far. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. That was episode number 2 of Michael on the Mic. Don't forget to get your 4 free stocks, each valued up to $1,600, when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.